Can I watch and rank every single show that's happening here at Cedar Point for Halloweekends? Well, I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. Let's go find out. At this point, Prestige Lot is this lot right behind me here. So I park as close as I possibly can to the Cedar Point Beach entrance to be able to get in to Cedar Point. Let's go. The beach entrance is about as close to the pavilion and to another side entrance down here as you can get. And that's where I like to go. It just makes things a little bit faster. Plus, there's usually not lines here. If you're here for like early park entry, you won't actually need to wait in order to get in, which I do like a lot. A nice day here already, and I'm ready to go see some shows. Let's go. So it's a warmer day today. There are a few people out on the beach. I do think that's pretty cool. I always like it when people are out on the beach. It just adds to a vibrancy from Cedar Point. The beach is, after all, the reason why Cedar Point exists on this peninsula at all. Today, I'm ranking every single show by stage design, technology, talent, costumes, and humor. So we're gonna find out as much about all of these shows as we can, and we're gonna see which one of them actually gets to the top. I am very excited to see them all. It's my first time getting to this season, so let's go. First thing on my list this morning is to come into the Grand Pavilion so I can grab some food out here. I think we're going for some nachos. Along with most of the places here at Cedar Point for Halloweekends, there's a few fewer things than you could have gotten earlier. So they now have nacho cheese Doritos or white corn tortillas, but they used to have several different kinds of Doritos that you could get for the chips that you wanted for your nachos here at this little stand. All right. So, as a part of this, we are going to be trying these foods also. These nachos are fine, nothing spectacular. They're great still. I'm not going to hate them by any means, but we are also going to try another drink today, see what they're like. These they hold up pretty well. The chicken is flavorful. How bad could nachos ever be really?
Not busy, not slow, like this.
That's what they are. Everyone say hi to Katie. I'm spitting out all my food while I said that. It has now been $2.54 per meal that I've had here at Cedar Point or at any Cedar Fair park. I have also gotten a cable car. We're gonna try this one out, see what it's like. It is inspired by the old cable cars that used to travel the streets of Sandusky. An adaptation of sidecar cocktail, swapping out the brandy for spiced rum and adding a cinnamon sugar rim. Hey, there's no cinnamon sugar rim. No, that's all right. Ooh, that's really good.
It's good.
All right, now on top of what I'm eating already, which is the nachos, which I've made a good dent in, you can also get some fall-inspired stuff and also some normal menu items for this particular restaurant and bar. So you can get the boneless chicken bites, the breaded cheese curds, or the mini pretzel sticks, and or celery and ranch for $6.99. What? That's a lot of money. But you can also get a fall special of the butternut squash and prosciutto pizza for $15.99. If you would like to get something a little bit, it sounds like kind of a sweet and savory kind of a mixture, which I think could be really good. I don't know that it's down my alley, but we're gonna go try a couple of different treats throughout today, but that is an option here at the Grand Pavilion, also for Halloweekends. Everybody come here and hang out with Katie. I'm talking about you. I said tell her Not Your Normal Guy said hi. If you come though and you say you know Not Your Normal Guy, make sure you tip well. Okay, well, things have gone bad. we do not know when things are starting right now. It does say up here costume contest 1:30, but I wrote down everything last night and it said 1:15 last night. So I'm not quite sure what to expect. I'm not sure if everything else is going to be 15 minutes off either. We're going to have to find out. I do see them coming right now, so they're at least about ready to start. But this also is my least favorite one to go see. I'm not so much looking forward to this one because this is all about kids, really. But there they are right here, getting ready for the costume council. So I'm going to watch this one right now. I am obviously not the target audience, but that's okay. I'm still gonna watch. I'm just watching from a distance because, especially with this mustache, I look creepy. So let's do it. All right, just re-updated. I don't even see the costume contest on there at all, but we're going to watch them and check it out because it's obviously going right now. So let's go.
At the door. Trick or treat, look at what you're wearing. Trick or treat,
the neighbors, yeah, they're staring.
Trick or treat, I gotta get some candy, cause I know my sibling won't be sharing. That's right, we are the premier trick-or-treaters, the champions of chocolate, the costume connoisseurs. We are
Malice
and mischief.
and with your ideas, I mean, help. We'll be sure to prove who's best dressed once and for all this Halloween.
Homemade or Amazon, parents,
Make sure your camera's on.
and watch us decide who amongst you is best dressed here this fall. Trick or treat, look at what you're wearing. Trick or treat,
The neighbors, they're staring.
trick or treat, I gotta get some candy, cause I know my sibling won't be sharing.
Wow, Mischief, this is a great idea. I mean, look at all of the great costume ideas before us. We should have thought of this way sooner.
We are looking for the best Halloween costume here. Something that's really gonna scare
Or charm.
the candy out of the bowls.
And into our pillowcases.
We want all kinds of different costumes. We want spooky, we want pretty, we want concepts, people. We need variety.
I feel like no pub crawl would be complete without a Halloweekends signature drink from Market Garden with the Hallow Ale. So we're gonna go check that out here at Bar 1870. In Bar 1870, you can get all kinds of different pre-batched and pre-made drinks, from fizzies to all kinds of blood bags. Now, I just got the pumpkin ale here. It is Hallow Ale, and we're gonna try it out. I haven't tried this one yet, so we're gonna check this one out. It is the signature drink for Cedar Point's Halloweekends, so we're gonna try it and see what it's like. Okay, now I'm not a huge pumpkin guy. I don't love having pumpkin everything in the fall. I have had a pumpkin beer before and it was pretty decent. So let's see what this one's like. Okay, it's pretty hoppy. I'm not gonna say it's one that makes my eyes light up. I'm sure it'll make me feel great. But yeah, it's a little bit more acidic also. It's not gonna be my favorite, let's just say that. But if you are a big pumpkin person, you probably will like it. It doesn't taste, it tastes more of a hint of pumpkin. It doesn't taste like that's a massive part. Of it. Yeah, it's okay. It's nothing spectacular. Let's just say that much. It's about like a pretty hoppy beer would taste to me on most days. Okay, after a quick look, it looks like it was just a quick glitch. Everything is still happening as scheduled. Thank goodness, because I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to do some fancy footwork here and figure this out. Now, let's talk about that show just a little bit here. Now, for stage design, there is almost no stage design there. for the costume show. But there is there's literally a stage. That's all it is. I think at night there might be a few more lights around the area, but that show never takes place at night. So there's really just nothing to it. It would get last place, but last place at this point is still first place. So we get first place for the Costume Council. As far as technology goes, there are microphones, and that's it. So again, not much in the way of actual technology for that show either, for the kids' costume show. I would give it last place so far, but it's still going to get first place because that's all we have, first place. Now for talent, they did dance and sing, and they also did command the attention and be able to work with kids. That does take a vast amount of talent. I'm a teacher, I know. Again, first place for that. I'm not sure that it will last, but for talent, there is at least a little bit that they need to do for that, which I do think is pretty fun to watch either way. That being said, especially as a grown adult man and someone who has come into the park without their kid today, I'm not finding it to be something where I'm like super enthralled by watching it. I'm just not the target audience. The kids' costume show did have a few moments of self-deprecating humor. I always appreciate that kind of humor the most. I wouldn't say it was a particularly funny show though. It's more of a cheesy show. And really, the star of the show is the kids. The star of the show is you're a parent and you're watching your kid get dressed up and maybe win a prize. That's the star of the show. That's the exciting part about it. Not the comedy from the people who are talking. But either way, it's not like I hated them by any means. They did a great job. Nothing wrong with either of them. It's just, again, that's not the reason why you're there. For costumes, they were great, fine. I know they're specifically handmade to create a cool look for them. Do I think they're amazing? No, not by any means. And they're very similar to what they used to have in the past. I have a feeling they're just reused costumes, actually. As a matter of fact, maybe even a little bit less than what they used to have. So, again, not my favorite as far as costumes go. I think we knew that coming in. Both of these shows are more for kids. And I am not the target audience. However, when it comes to the Witch Sisters, which is where I'm going right now, sometimes there is a bit more adult humor. So I'm excited to go see it, and let's go check it out. I love the Witch Sisters. I think they are hilarious, and I can see them in the window right now. This is a show that I think is worthwhile for most people, or at least has been in the past. And I know that they have the same people coming back again this year that they have had last year also. They were so funny last year. I can't imagine anything less for them this year also. So we're gonna check them out and see what they actually do. This is an interactive show for your kids where the witches make a spell. I'm very excited to watch it. Let's go. Also, there are some shops right around here for you to check out. The Fort Sandusky Mining Company and leather goods. And then also you can pan for gemstones right over here. If your kid's ADD and likes to have multiple things to do, it might be a great thing to both watch the witches and to have other things to do, like mining for gold also at the same time. It is nice also that it's in this area over here. It's quite a bit shadier and very helpful to be able to watch it here where it's a little bit cooler, especially on this kind of a hot day like it is today. As I move up toward the Witch Sisters here and am drinking this drink, this has only gotten better as I've continued to drink it. So I'm still not gonna say it's my favorite thing ever, but it's pretty decent. So overall, the kids' costume contest gets first place overall, which means it has 5 points so far. Now, overall, we're looking for the lowest score that you can possibly get for you to win. These are golf rules, but I do not expect that the kids' costume contest or kids' costume show is going to get the highest score for me by any means. Again, I'm not the target audience. That doesn't mean it's not fun, and it doesn't mean your kids wouldn't enjoy it. It's just not going to be overall my bag of tea or something that I think is of the utmost quality that you possibly can have. Is the costume contest your favorite though, or is it your kids' favorite? Please let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. And let's go watch the Witch Sisters.
Sister Witch, we're on it. Every horse is your favorite.
There are a lot more speakers than there used to be. Woo!
Greetings, wanderers of the night. Come closer, won't you? We don't bite. We're the Witch Sisters, witches 3. No match for our sorcery. Your presence here is welcome. In fact, it is dire. To help cook up spells over this open fire. Let's bubble up trouble and stir in some tricks. This stew smells like Hades, tiny little stick. As you can tell, my microphone does not work. So we have to go inside to find out what's wrong. We have a trickster game coming up in just about 15 minutes that we will do, and all of you can participate in. Otherwise, we have to go fix the mic problems. If they are fixed, maybe we'll come back out. Thank you so much for joining us.
Woo! All right. Oh no, they're back. They're back already. Okay. They had issues with technical stuff, and they were about to leave. They'd already made me laugh a couple times, so we're gonna watch the rest of this. Let's go.
Expecting a boy. True. A little about us. We're witches. We're sisters. And we used to live on a ranch. It was hard before. Can you not? Are there any sad trolls out there? You could be an internet troll. Raise your hand if you identify as a troll. Now, is there any doubt that I am the most wicked, sisters? Hey! Did not say I was the most wicked. If he doesn't remember 20 seconds, he's very lying. Stop! Turn around. Stop! Now wave goodbye to your friends and family. Oh, you are all so eager. We are so here, ready to dance. What kind of magic spell do you use? I have a literal sweet tooth right here, see? I carry it around in my pocket. It was my ex-boyfriend. Which one? Pete Davidson. From my bosom! What she's got in there? In the place of eternal darkness where men can fall and coal and disappear forever. Right! And she loves elbows. Did you know that? Relax! Whoa! What about all the people on keto? Oh no! Don't cry, baby. Sugar is killing you, but it's okay. And try not to throw up from eating candy all night. Now sit down, you're crowding me. So for now, we have to go. You should wander around the park and take in another show. Meet us on the hours, on the 20s and the 40s. We could play some games or read some bedtime stories. Thank you. Clap for her. Thank you.
Yeah! Woo!
Now clap for Sabina.
Yeah!
I can't hear you.
Yeah!
Thank you for attending this most wretched gathering of witches.
First of all, even before they solved the technical issues, they had me rolling. Now, that being said, I know what they're doing. Like, I know that it's going to be funny, so that's why I was predisposed to be funny. But of course, adding the technical elements to it really made it 10 times better. So first of all, for stage design, The Witch Sisters is a beautiful show. It's in a beautiful setting. It doesn't really have stage design. It has a cauldron and it has a few little elements that they have along with it. Of course, also there are a couple little folly elements around it, some pumpkins, things like that. Nothing that's too spectacular, but they do have a few things that are there to make it a little bit better. Regardless, it is way better than the costume show that we saw earlier, giving it first place. Now, the Witch Sisters have 2 other shows that also happen besides the spell incantation that we just saw. So there are shows happening for them constantly throughout about a 4-hour span. So expect to see a lot from them. If you have kids, you can just hang out here and watch shows, and they'd be endlessly entertained for about a cycle of about an hour straight to have different things to do. But they play constantly, and then they're done for the day after about, I think, maybe 3 cycles, something like that. We are not discussing every show that they're doing today by any means. It would just be way too much to do that. But suffice it to say that they have some spectacular shows. My favorite one by far, though, is the spell incantation, the spell ceremony. Definitely so much more fun, and definitely the best one for adults to go watch also. For technology, obviously they had some issues today. That doesn't mean that it's bad though. They did a great job of fixing it, obviously. Sometimes technology issues are going to take place, but we're not judging this on whether technology issues happened. We're judging this on how the technology actually is used and if it's actually a lot that they do or if it's very little. In this show, again, they mostly just have microphones. They do have a couple of other little things, like the cauldron actually makes some smoke. They have some special elements in that kind of a way. There is some music now that actually happens with it also in the background, kind of to fill in the space. And that's actually the reason why it was so difficult to hear them when they didn't have technology happening with them. So that's part of the reason why they had such difficulty, because I was almost like, just turn it off because I can't hear them. Where they used to actually meet back behind this wall inside the fort. When they did it there, they didn't even have any technology. They didn't have microphones or anything like that. But in this case now, it makes it more difficult if their microphones stop working because they have that background music too. And they're just in a larger area where they need to be mic'd so that people can actually hear them. Regardless of all of that, I loved what they did, and fixing it was pretty fantastic. They did a great job of fixing it quickly and then coming right back. I barely even had enough time to walk back here, start talking about them, and then they started going again right away. So they did a great job of that. Either way, technology gets first place once again. For them, it is just a little bit more than what the costume council did earlier today. For talent, both of these shows are utilizing kids. Both of them have a little bit of dancing, and both of them have some ad-libbing that needs to be done. This has a lot more of a script that you need to follow, but then there's also that ad-libbing that they do that really makes it funny. And I love how they add little pop culture references in. Today I heard some things about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. It's hilarious to me. They really make it relevant, they really make it funny, and they really give you some little jokes that as an adult you're going to really enjoy. So I do love it. I feel like I want to give the Costume Council at least one of these, but this is, I think, objectively better than the Costume Council just altogether. So once again, I have to give it to the Witch Sisters for number 1. They're hilarious. And one other thing that comes with it also, that also I think makes the talent portion of this just that much better, is first of all, a little bit more singing, but also secondly, a broader audience. It actually does appeal to adults and not just to kids. They are the star of the show, where the Costume Council, the kids, are the star of the show. And that's what I think sets them apart just a little bit more. Our next stop on our pub crawl is Trail Tavern, right over here. Let's go find something to drink. in here. All right, it is such a cool place. I love how they've really decorated this fall. I think it's a pretty cool place to just be able to exist in, especially up here at the front. I like this a lot. Love that spider. All right, let's go. All right, so we have a Gunslinger here. Gunslinger is the favorite of my buddy Andrew's, and it's very similar to a Long Island. It is really, truly a Long Beach. So we're gonna check this out and try it again today. Not that I haven't tried it. I've tried a lot of these drinks, but this one is one that I don't have very often. So let's see what it's like. Okay, I'm already spilling it, so let's try it. It definitely tastes strong. Like, it is strong in so many different ways. There's a lot of alcohol, but obviously it's also a lot of, alcohol is what makes the flavor, but it also has like a very acidic kind of a flavor to it. And that's why I don't often get these. My stomach doesn't deal well with a lot of acid. So often I don't do them, but it is one of the best ways to get it. It's not particularly sugary, and that's what I appreciate about this one. Despite the acid, the sugar is really what takes me out. So I like having this. Now, one of my favorite things to tell you guys to do is if you're going to see a lot of shows, which I am today, even though I'm also drinking, one of the best ways to support the shows that you're going to see is to buy a drink, buy a snack across the park as you're watching the different shows. It's going to show Cedar Point that while you're walking around and whenever it's showtime, people are buying extra drinks at these different bars ready to go to their shows. And that is a great way to support the actors and singers that are doing the most here at Cedar Point. For humor, this honestly might be one of the funniest shows here at Cedar Point. From pop culture references to my name's Herb. My parents were expecting a boy, which I just got this year. Like, I've been hearing about Herb for 4 years. I didn't know who it was. Now I know who it was. I thought it was a boyfriend. There's just so many funny things that they talk about in this show that really make it great for adults also, not just for kids. So it is worthwhile to come and check out. Definitely first for humor here also. For costumes, these costumes are not particularly fantastic because there's nothing new about them. They're the same costumes that they've had for, I think, the last 4 years. I still love them. I'm not at all disparaging them and being like they're disgusting because they're not new. Of course, you can reuse costumes. That's fine. It's a good way to save on a little bit of budget and to be able to update the speaker system like they have this year. So I do like that. I don't have any problem with it. But I don't think that it's something that is particularly fantastic. And I also don't think that the costumes at the last place were particularly fantastic either, though. Both of them are reused. I think these are prettier overall. They're the full bodice. They kind of give a little bit of a more Victorian kind of a vibe. They do have a similar type of vibe as both of them as far as color scheme goes and stuff like that. And I do think maybe that dates them a little bit. But I do think these are the prettiest overall, the best costumes overall, and the most creative overall out of the two shows that we've seen. So this one also gets first. So that's first for everything across the board for Witch Sisters, which means Witch Sisters gets the highest score that you can get at this point anyway, which is 5. So let's go. Or the lowest score, I guess, really, as it were, of 5. Because again, we're playing by golf rules. So let's go. Overall, as far as Halloweekends shows go, Witch Sisters is by far one of the funniest, if not one of the most creative that you may see. It is one that I absolutely adore. I've loved it since last year when it became a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting to see such a funny and ingenious show here as a part of the kids lineup. I really have loved it and I really enjoyed it. Now, in the past, I have seen the Witch Sisters, but I saw like the story time, or they have another like game time that they do with the Witch Sisters for kids. So I saw those things, but I hadn't actually seen the spellcasting ceremony. And the spellcasting ceremony is really just something fantastic. And really, a lot of that comes down to the 3 actresses who are part of it. Jessica is basically the Regina George of this group. And then you kind of have the other 2 dumb mean girls as part of it also. But all together, their group is just so funny. And obviously, really, truly, the archetypes are based off of Disney's Hocus Pocus. That's really what this is. Even down to at the very end, she has a little, instead of a broom, she has a dustbuster. It's very similar type of humor, a little bit edgier and a bit more adult. And that is what makes it such a fun show. It's worthwhile to come see, and I highly recommend coming to check out the Witch Sisters. I don't highly recommend coming to check out the kids' costume show. The costume show is great if you have a kid in it, but as an adult, you just feel creepy. But if you come here, there's a lot of great stuff for you to see with it, and it's more worthwhile than you might think it would be. Now, you can tell by the amount of people that are walking down these pathways that tonight is going to be a very busy night. It is a Saturday. It is the first day that I've gotten to see shows because on Friday nights, I generally have my daughter. Now, our next show, though, is The Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. That's on the main stage, but I'm at 15% battery, and I left my charger, which I have a massive charger block. I left it in my car. I guess I was gonna go to the Red Garter to charge up my phone, but you know, now that I think about it, I might just go grab my charger block instead and be back for The Monsters Is Coming, Charlie Brown, because I have an hour to do that. So let's go. If you are a kettle corn fan, you should come over here. Come and get some kettle corn. They make it fresh in front of you. Definitely a fun thing to be able to do. All right, guys, I stopped inside of Red Garter for a little while, and now I am headed out to my car. But I am feeling substantially toasty. Which is part of the reason why I'm walking, but also because I want to get my battery, my phone battery, portable battery for my phone. So we're on our way out. Let's go. This day is going to be fun. Also, because the day is going to be fun, press that like button. Come on. You guys know you want to do it, and it helps more people to see what I do on this channel. So go press that button and get more people to subscribe. Let's go. It is so hot. It is time for shirt open Trent on the way out to the car. I am exhausted, having fun, and very, very, very toasty. It's wonderful. I can't wait to see more shows tonight. All right, and now we are on our way in to go to the Charlie Brown show. Let's go. Please let me know what shows are your favorites here at Cedar Point. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. And we're about to get into all the adult shows now. So things are just gonna get better as the evening goes on. So, let's go. All right, we have 12 minutes to make it to The Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown, which is always a very fun show. Again, it's a kids show. All of these daytime shows are family fare, but there is also a bar there, so we'll be grabbing something while we're there. Now, in the interest of safety, I am staying here tonight. So because of that, that makes it possible for me to do something like this. This is not something I would recommend for most people. If you're going to have a drink or a couple of drinks here at Cedar Point during the day before you drive home, but make sure that you leave that like 4 hours there for you to be able to settle down by the end of the night. That's generally what I do. I'm not doing that today. It's a little bit of a different situation for me today. So normally though, do not expect this kind of thing from me, and do not do it yourself unless it is something where you're safe and you are able to go back to a hotel at the end of the night and not have to drive home. You're trying to get in. If you have a bag, just take it off and put it on your arm. be ready to go, because for me in particular, I always have problems with my bags, so I just prepare for them to have to go through it one way or another. Also, make sure that your card is out and ready to go. Also, the less you have to do with fumbling around, getting things around, stuff like that, the faster that process is going to be, and the better it is for both you and for the people behind you. No one likes to have to wait behind someone who's fumbling around for everything in their pockets, doesn't have the stuff that they need, doesn't have their card out. Make sure that you have those things available for you so that you're ready to go as soon as they're able to let you in. We are headed to The Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. Very excited for this show. It'll be fun to see what kind of updates they've done. All of these shows are the same shows that they've had last year, other than the Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew is at the very, very end of the night, but each of them is different, with different casts, different costumes, different situations going on. And I think this is the first show that we're gonna have where they really do have something very different going on. Even though it's technically the same show, it's still a different situation, maybe some different songs, and definitely some different costumes. So let's go. We have 4 minutes until the next show, which means I have enough time to come over here to the Hops and Drops bar and grab something. You know what? I've had Hops and Drops recently, but I have not had the beer tent that's over here. So that's what we're gonna grab instead. I didn't think about it, and I may not be able to get there in time. We'll have to see what happens. I'm sure the show won't start like immediately. There'll probably be a voiceover and stuff. But there are a lot of people here waiting for The Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown.
Ready, the spookiest time of the year.
Yeah, we're not gonna get to get a drink. Here's the voiceover right now.
Charlie Brown.
Point one night, when my eyes beheld such an eerie sight. Halloweekends here, see to come alive with my friend Charlie Brown in a costume disguise. We got on in class. We did the monster mash.
All right, here we are at the Yuengling tent. Let's go. I like the cup. All right, now this is the hard cider, but it's more of like a pumpkin hard cider. So it'll be really interesting to see which one this one is.
Sighting.
A ghost sighting?
That's right, a ghost sighting. Sources say that ghosts have been seen at the pumpkin patch.
Almost like an apple pie.
The pumpkin patch. And they're
Wow, this is
coming
really
this
good.
way.
I really like this one. This is very, very good.
Yes, that's what I said.
Okay, so that was the McKenzie's hard apple cider, and it's actually really, really delicious. So go check that one out. It's definitely worthwhile to go check that one out. They have a new song that I don't remember anyway.
That's what I said. The monsters are here, and they're trick-or-treating. Happy Halloween, everyone, from your friends at KBF Radio.
Halloween's astounding. Doorbells are ringing. Trick or treating takes its toll.
With the great pumpkin rising sometime after midnight. Simply beat helps us keep control.
Let's do the
I'm glad that they're doing that. Giving like a greeting time with Snoopy if you want to meet him. So families can come over here and they can meet Snoopy over here if they would like to. All right, the Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. Now, let's talk about what this show actually is and where it ranks. So the Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown is a great show. It's very much family friendly. And of course, it has to do with Lucy and Charlie Brown and Snoopy and the gang at Halloween. Now, it's actually kind of funny because some of the lines that they have had for Lucy in the past, the very like narcissistic, like I'm the best kind of lines, have not been reserved for her for this year. They've been changed to another person. So because of that, some of the humor falls a little bit flat because you already kind of know who Lucy is, that she thinks very, very highly of herself. But you do not know that about these random characters that are just dancing here at Cedar Point. So because of that, a little bit of the humor doesn't quite work as well as it has in past. However, that being said, I guess I'm a complicated man because I kind of like it a little bit better. Even though the humor falls a little bit more flat, it's a little bit better to actually see human characters actually talking rather than mostly just face characters where it's like someone in a mask saying the words that you're hearing. For stage design, most of this stage design is not specifically made for the show, but it is a beautiful stage design. Now, this is specifically for the show. The rest of it isn't really for the show. And it is a new stage design for this year, which means it is number one for this category for all of the entertainment shows at this point. As far as technology goes, there really is only just still sound that's happening here for the Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. There's not a ton of different stuff that's happening. There is this entire booth up here that's working on it, but most of that is going to be utilized during the Shrieks and during other shows that happen this evening, not during this show because this show happens during the daytime, so there's not really much reason for it. However, there are more characters and there is more dialogue that happens during this show, so it still gets number one at this point. For talent, for this show, there is more singing and more dancing, far more dancing than both of the shows that we have seen so far. This is our last of the family-centered shows that are happening here at Cedar Point. Definitely the best as far as all of those types of shows go because there is just way more for them to do. Now, I gotta be honest, despite the bees, this drink, whoa, oh my word, this bee is so aggressive. Oh my word, stop it. This drink is absolutely fantastic. Very, very good. Again, despite the bees are smelling it and they're like coming for it. For humor, the comedy falls flat. There is some fun things, like I've said in prior years, actually saying the things like, that's what I said, stuff like that. Like, it is funny. It's not particularly great. It's very, very light humor, but it does work just a little bit to make a little bit of humor and to make it an easier thing for us to listen to. So I do enjoy both of those things. So because of that, though, I'm going to give it second place because The Witch Sisters is by far way funnier. As far as the costumes go, they are new costumes and they are Charlie Brown themed costumes, which I like very much. They're very, very simple, and underneath them they're just wearing shorts and black t-shirts. It's very, very easy, or I guess as far as the girls go, they were wearing black camis also. Because of that, there's a little bit, like the slightest amount of maybe some tiny bit of sex appeal that maybe kind of pushes them ahead as far as that goes. But other than that, I would still give this to the Witch Sisters massively. And really, I think I'm still going to give it to the Costume Council also. They're also going to get second place. I like those costumes better. They're more intricate, they're more specific. Again, this may have the slightest bit of an edge over like some sex appeal, but there's really not much to it. I mean, black shirts and black shorts really are not anything to write home about, and so because of that, I'm going to give this one third place. Also, it's a kids show. Like, there's not really much of a reason to have sex appeal other than, I guess, the parents are watching it, so you could give it like that. In the past years, they've had a bit more sex appeal to it for the sake of the parents, but I do not mind it that they've kept this a little bit more innocent and a bit more simple this year so that they can do other things. So at this point, the Monsters Are Coming Charlie Brown and the Witch Sisters are both tied for first place. For third place, we have the Kids Costume Council. And so we're going to continue to go on as we continue to see what the more adult shows end up offering for us for tonight. Let's go. Now we are an hour early for Wake the Dead. Actually earlier than an hour early. We are starting to walk about an hour and a half before the show starts. Honestly, that's kind of necessary if you actually want a good seat. So we're gonna go check it out right now. I love this show, or at least I have in past years. Now this year, they have this show here, and they also have it at Carowinds during fall break. I'm planning on going to visit Carowinds, so I cannot wait to go compare both. So we're gonna check out both of them. Very, very exciting for me. I love this show, have loved it for the last several years. It is a brand new cast though, for this year. So it's gonna be an entirely different take. It's going to be an entirely different look. And that's what makes it even more exciting, at least for me. So, cannot wait to go. Let's get to it. There's someone fun over there by the Millennium Lounge. I don't know that you can always hear this, but he laughs. He's terrifying. He just laughed at me. It scared me. I almost peed myself. Now this year, as far as I can tell, they are still doing the glass blowing, which is why people are here right now. But they are not doing the show that they have done in past years. They have always done Edgar Allan Poe's story of the Telltale Heart. I think it's Edgar Allan Poe, is that right? But either way, they have done his story. But either way, they have done the story of the Telltale Heart. I do know it's that much. So I'm a little bit surprised to see though that they aren't doing that full performance of that story, because they have done that for the last several years. Not that I disagree with the decision, because I really don't think it's the worst thing that they could have done, but it is interesting to see that that is gone at this point. All right, and we are headed back to the Last Chance Saloon and Wake the Dead, provided that there's not a massive, massive line. Even if there is, because I'm by myself, I have generally gotten out of line. Because when you're by yourself, you don't really have to worry about it as much. You can usually find a seat pretty easily as long as you get there on time. But I would really like a great seat tonight. So we're gonna go see what we can find. Let's go. All right, good. No line yet. Oh no, but there is a line for the Smokehouse. Shoot. I don't really want to wait in a line for the Smokehouse, but I guess I will if I need to. And then we're gonna go grab a drink from Last Chance Saloon also. Wow. I've been there for 5 minutes. We haven't moved forward at all. How? How is that possible? Miss Keats, that's the dumbest, worst service I've ever heard of. So we're done with that. And instead, we're going over to Farmhouse Kitchen and Grill to grab some food. Now, they used to have tables inside Wake the Dead that you could actually wait in. They do not have that anymore. So you do have to, whatever you're going to decide to eat inside Leslie Lil's, you have to eat before you get in there. So we may need to actually grab some sort of a table. This is still a line, but it is spectacularly better. This is way better. And it may be the time for me to actually try the steak one more time and see if it's decent or not. Because it looks like it's being well sliced and like it is actually steak. Not like it's roast beef. So we may need to try that again. Let's see. All right, now this steak looks very well cooked. We'll have to see what it's actually like. It does also have some flavoring on the sides, so that's why I got it, to see what it's actually like. Give it a second chance. And then the potatoes also are pretty decent. Now recently, I just had the potatoes and they were absolutely delicious. So I'm hoping that this meal is going to be equally as delicious again, but we'll have to see. It is kind of hard to cut through, so that makes me already worried. But let's see what it's like. Okay. Yeah, this is good. I don't know that it's as good as it used to be. But as far as I'm tasting, it's still very, very good. It is a bit more medium well done, so it's still not, because of that, it doesn't melt in your mouth quite as well as it used to. It's also a bit more chewy, but it is not bad at all. It tastes very, very good. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised with how well it tastes. Oh yeah, it's been 20 minutes. Look at this line. It's a pretty decent line. It's time to go in though and grab another drink. Let's see what they have in here as a part of our pub crawl. Now I'm right about to go in to go see Wake the Dead. I cannot wait to go into the Palace Theater. So excited right now. But we're here to grab whatever fall drinks they have here at the Last Chance Saloon. Whatever it is, it's cool and it's also very pink. All right, now this one is the Rattlesnake. It is a special fall drink that they have here for Halloweekends inside the Last Chance Saloon. It is, he told me, basically a fireball. So we're gonna check that out and see what it's like. All right, so let's try this right now and see what it's like. Oh yeah, it's definitely a fireball. It's not just fireball, there are some other things in it. It does feel like there's maybe something a little bit sweet inside it to kind of contradict that fire and that more intensity of the fireball itself and of the like cinnamon that they have inside fireball. It is very, very good though. Yeah, I'm liking this a lot. This one is definitely really good. It's not anything that's like so special that you gotta write home about it or anything like that. It doesn't have like the syringe to go into it to like put your blood in it or anything like that, which is part of the fun and part of the gimmick of some of the other drinks. This one is a little bit less gimmicky. It's a little bit more simple, and it is very, very good. So let's move on to our next show, which is Wake the Dead, which I am so excited about. All right. We're hopping in line for Wake the Dead. We'll still have to wait here for another like half hour probably for the show to start. Surprisingly, this is a small show space, but there's actually more space in it than you think there is. So I cannot wait to go see it. Let's go. Now, one pro tip when it comes to Wake the Dead is that Wake the Dead is a very popular show during the day, but toward the very end of the night, if you come to the 10:30 showing, you're going to be able to get into it a lot easier without having to actually wait in line. Just be prepared for that and be ready for that. It does make it a little bit easier when you know that that is the case if you come later. Now, a lot of times that is because people are trying to hit their last haunted house or their last big attraction. But if the shows are what you're really here for, then that's an easy thing for you to do, to just get in line for Wake the Dead at the end of the night. If you don't get in line for Wake of the Dead and you're not there in time, they can close you off depending on how busy it has actually gotten. So be prepared for that also. You do need to be here early for this show. The other shows are a little bit easier because they are either inside in a space where there is no cap off, or they are outside where you can walk by freely at any point. So you'll never miss those shows. But this one, you do have to do a fair bit amount of planning for in advance. I'm drinking my drink while waiting for Wake the Dead. Let's go. All right, here we go. All of the funeral arrangements happening. Hop in and see as much as I possibly can. All right, and we are back into Lusty Lil's Palace Theater. I love being in here. It's just fun to see the place, and I wish it was open during the main season also. But cannot wait to see this show today and see what their new take on it is with a brand new cast.
Rochester Estate. In just 5 minutes, join the assembled jury for Wake the Dead, a murder mystery musical. Here's emergency exits located to the back and left side of the theater.
Oh, they already closed it up. A little bit surprised to see that they closed it off that early. It's 3 minutes ahead of schedule for the show. So if they're already at capacity, you gotta get here early.
Good evening and welcome to the funeral service of Frederick Earl Anderson Rochester. Tonight we shall witness the reading of his last will and testament. 4 of his closest family and friends are arriving now. Their fate is in your hands.
Testament of Frederick Earl Anderson Rochester. Won't they be surprised? Going to a party where no one's still alive.
Must you overact in life as well? As I was saying, before my email.
So let's start with you, Mrs. Rochester. You requested to have this funeral at night.
I'm not a morning person.
You were married to my client for
13 years.
Now Frederick Earl Anderson Rochester. My client wasn't your only husband, was he?
No.
You were married before.
Repeatedly. You know how you save a man from drowning? You take your boot off the back of his neck. He had it coming. He had it coming. He had it coming all along. I didn't do it. Life, I did it. How could you tell me that I was wrong? A painter, but he was troubled. He was always trying to find himself. So he'd go out every night looking, and along the way, he found Ginger, Lisa, Clara, and Tony. I guess you could say we separated due to artistic differences. You see, he saw himself alive, and I saw him dead.
Stick it in a blender and then suck it up through a straw like one great big sick sexual smoothie. Yeah. So tell me what to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hold for a moment to take a look at our audio issue that we have. Actors, please head backstage. Audience, please remain in your seats until advised otherwise. Thank you.
We're having an audio issue. I'm not sure what's happening. I've heard they've been having it, but I haven't seen any kind of an audio issue so far, so.
Exit the building through the front doors. I'm not sure we'll be able to help you open here. We hope to see you after our next show at 7:30. Thank you.
Okay, so in 5 years of covering Halloweekends events, I have never seen a show canceled for technical difficulties. I don't know. We'll give it, without me being disparaging about it, we'll give it one time before I start making comparisons to Top Thrill 2. So, we have another show to go see. We're going to go check it out. Let's go. All right, now I am just going to rank Wake the Dead based on what I've seen. What I'm assuming it's going to be like and what I've seen overall. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same when I see the full show, but this is what Cedar Point has given me to judge at this point since they had to end the show unceremoniously. For stage design, Wake the Dead gets first place. It is the one with the most stuff. You have the coffin. It's all pretty much the exact same thing as it has been for the last 2 years, but that doesn't take away from it being fantastic stage design. I do love to see something fresh, something new, something exciting in that way. We'll see that later on this evening, and that will take away from it just a little bit because there's, as far as what I saw, there was nothing that was new, no new elements in there, but it is a really nice looking background, and they do a good job with technology and stuff like that that's used in the background also. For technology, Wake the Dead gets first place. There's just so much that Wake the Dead does. I mean, you have videos that they have playing in the background. They have that testimonial video also. Of course, they have multiple people singing and dancing, and all of that requires people on the mixing boards. Obviously, there's some issues with it because with the technology, because that's the reason why they closed. And that is mildly frustrating to me, but especially after, you know, you rehearse enough and then you're still having problems. Like, at some point, the show must just go on. But, and also, this is the second time that I've run into technical issues today. So that's one of those things where I'm like, ooh, Cedar Point, you okay, bro? So, but we're gonna bypass that for right now. It still gets first place for technology overall because it does take quite a bit of technical stuff for it to be able to do it. Now, several of the shows at this point have had both a mixture of dancing and of singing that has happened inside their shows. But this one definitely by far has the most singing and dancing. Dancing's much more intricate, much more exciting. There's some big stuff that happens inside it, and you've got some really strong talent happening as far as the singing goes. So I expect to see that, and I do really enjoy it from this show. Now, I didn't get to finish it all, so we'll have to see what the rest of it's actually like on another day. I will not get to make it to another show tonight. And just based on its own merits, it is worthwhile to probably go check out. As far as humor goes, Wake the Dead does seem to have some humorous moments, and even in the amount of time that I watched, there were a few moments that already made me chuckle. It does not make me laugh nearly as much as the Witch Sisters does, and it also is being done in a much less funny way. These people are kind of delivering lines in a more straight way rather than what the original cast did. Now, that may change as the year goes on. A lot of times it takes them a minute to get into kind of the groove and what they really want to do with the show. Since it is a brand new cast, it's worthwhile to give them kind of the benefit of the doubt on that. So I gave them second place out of 4 shows that we've seen so far today. Wake the Dead gets first place when it comes to the costumes that are at that show. Also, again, from what I have seen, the costumes are very similar to what they've had for the last couple of years, which is, from what I've seen, which is disappointing because 2 years ago they had different costumes and then they updated those costumes last year. But this year, it doesn't really seem like they've been updated that much in comparison to what they had last year. So that to me does make me a little bit sad, actually. Still, when you compare it to the shows that we've seen so far, today definitely gets first place out of the 4 shows that we've seen so far. I think there are others that will be coming up that will definitely supersede that. But for right now, that's what they have. So, right now, we are waiting on the opening Scarymonies. We're going to go check those out. There are 11 shows here at Halloweekends. I do think they are all worthwhile to go check out. They are all very fun, but we're waiting right now. Let's get down to the bottom score, though. So at this point, we have at the bottom the costume show for kids. Third place is the Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. Second place is the Witch Sisters. And first place is Wake the Dead. So far, out of the 4 shows that we've seen so far. Well, we were watching a show, and I sat this down for most of it, so it's a little bit watery now. But we're finishing up my hot tamale drink. We'll just call it that. Fireball drink. It's pretty watery at this point. Throw that away. We're about to go see the opening Scarymonies. We'll have to get another drink soon here. I didn't realize what they were doing here, but they are doing the Insult Emporium. I'll have to check out them doing that again sometime. It's about time for Mr. Midnight to start right now.
Alright everyone, this has been fun. I'm Janina, and on behalf of my sister...
This is a much more fun place for them to do it, too.
Investigator by profession and driven by her own supernatural encounter, Caroline Walker travels the world searching for the truth that lies in the darkness.
We are going to contact the other side with these. The light, a shining beacon of hope for all those who wandered in the darkness until it was snuffed out. All of us gathered here, let us reach out to the other side. Everyone, raise your ghost light high. The time has come for us to break the seal. As darkness approaches.
Black as ink, black as pitch. I sense your foreboding, your sense of dread. Give me one scream and I will wake the dead. I am there. I am both the solace of the shadow and the fear of the unknown. The sun sets forever. Is evil, and your brain will melt from the roar of these head-making buffoons. Deep within a dusty mansion, a portal has been opened, and nightmares have been set free. By the turning of the page, your inner fears become on stage. Your minds will fill with images of fright, all to summon the darkest delight. Lies below something sinister to be revealed in the coming day.
next show is the Shrieks. We're gonna go check that one out next. So as soon as you're done, if you walk straight up to the stage, then usually you can get a pretty decent spot to be able to check it out. But this, obviously, it gets crazy crowded, especially on a Saturday. All right, so the opening Scarymonies gets first place for stage design. It is a brand new stage design for the opening Scarymonies. It doesn't utilize, that show doesn't utilize a lot of the stage. However, it does do some pretty fun things, especially with Mr. Midnight. So I do give it definitely some good points because of that. But you know, like the shrine that they have up at the top, all of the different instruments and stuff and the different levels, not really used for that show in particular. Still, even at that, opening Scarymonies gets first place. Opening Scarymonies also gets first place for technology for multiple reasons. First of all, they didn't close. So, first of all, they have that in their favor. But secondly, also, they have some hydraulic stuff that's pretty cool. I mean, it's basic technology. It's just a pulley system. That's all it is. But it really does add to the effect. So that definitely adds to the effect and excitement of this show also. Look at these idiots behind me. For opening Scarymonies, I'm going to give it fourth place when it comes to talent. It's a lot of talking. They don't do a ton of singing, not a ton of dancing. There is like some interpretive dance essentially during it, but there's just not a ton going on. Like I did say, there's some hydraulics that happen during it. That's going to take some fun, or that's definitely going to take some work and some talent on that end. But there's just not a ton going on. There's not additional dancing. There's no instrumentation, stuff like that. And even as far as lighting goes, it's very simplified. So I'm going to keep it at fourth place for opening Scarymonies. For humor, opening Scarymonies gets fifth place. It's dead last for humor. It's just not really a funny show. That's not really the point of it. The point is that it is it's supposed to scare you more than actually be funny. So I think fifth place is definitely fair for that kind of a show. It's a shorter show also, so that's part of the reason why. Opening Scarymonies gets second place when it comes to costumes. These costumes are not that great overall, except for Mr. Midnight's costume, which is fantastic and almost over the top. But I mean, you can't be too over the top for Mr. Midnight. It's a very, very cool costume. His fingers are really cool. He has smoke in his costume itself. There's just a lot of cool stuff with that. But everybody else, all the dancers and stuff like that to the side, don't have such great costumes. Now, the people who come out around him, they do have great costumes, but they're kind of more of a side piece. They're the people coming to the haunted houses. So a little bit less a part of the show. So, but I do think second place is a pretty appropriate placing for this show to get, next to Wake the Dead. Overall, we have the kids' costume contest coming in last with 19 points. Opening Scarymonies is actually tied for third with 13 points, along with Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown, which has 13 points also. The Witch Sisters is in second place with 12 points, and Wake the Dead is in first place with 8 points.
Good evening, all you ghosts and ghouls. Tonight is the night.
It's the Shrieks. Let's
For all
go.
the special Halloween long ago.
Hunter!
The Shrieks gets first place for stage design. It's very similar to what we already saw. It already had great stage design. I would take this one up a bit more because they utilize more of the stage design in this show. Shrieks gets first place for technology also. They are doing some incredible stuff up on the screen. They have lighting that's going wild, and then there's also tons of people singing and dancing on the stage that they have to work out all together. It's fantastic. I'm loving it so much. Shrieks also gets first place for talent. The talent is varied and it is wild. There's so much that they're doing from the band to the dancing to the singing. This one even has a storyline, which I love, makes it so much more fun, and that also butches up the stage design with it too, because there's a purpose for the stage design that is here. So I love it. Now for humor, I would not say that the Shrieks is a funny show, but it is going to get third place for humor. It's a fun show. There's a little bit of humor behind it. I wouldn't say it's usually laugh out loud, but basically they've interjected a storyline into it that's really fun. It's again almost like a hocus pocus kind of a story. It's about two witches who come back to life to exact revenge upon two men, I think, who have wronged them. And it's people who are named after roller coasters. So it's definitely a fun thing to watch. And then that little storyline makes a big difference in that there's a little bit of this macabre humor behind it all that I really enjoy. However, it's not anywhere near as funny as either Witch Sisters or as Wake the Dead from what I've seen of Wake the Dead so far. For costumes, apparently I forgot to talk about these just altogether. So I'm talking about them from my bed right now. The costumes are incredible. They're beautiful. Everybody looks insane. The shirts are torn on the guys a little bit because they are dead. The two witches come out and they look absolutely fantastic and kind of like, I want to say like steampunk Victorian outfits. They're really, really cool, and then they rip off those dresses, and it's so hot. So, everybody else, though, is dirty because they have just come out from a grave. It's definitely fun to watch. I gave it first place out of all of the other shows that we've seen at this point. With 28 points, the last place is the kids' costume contest. With 21, second to last is The Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. With 19 points, the fourth place is the Witch Sisters. 18 points, third place is opening Scarymonies. 12 points, second place is Wake the Dead. 7 points, first place is the Shrieks. So far, I've seen a couple other shows since then, so let's talk about them.
Behold the tortured souls forever doomed to midnight's chaos.
Saturdays are usually like that. That is why today I'm choosing to do shows, because I don't need to contend with all these people to go ride rides or to go do haunted houses. Instead, I just need to get into the show to be able to see it. Now, the Fangs, however, I will need to compete a little bit. So I actually planned it so that I have 2 showings that I can go see. I'm gonna go see the 8:30 showing, and at this point, that one is probably already entirely packed. So I'm going to go to the next one right after that, and that will be the 9:30 showing. So instead I can get a drink at the 8:31 and still enjoy it, but it won't be a full recording, and I can also work on finishing my rankings right now because I'm a little bit behind because there's been a lot of shows. So let's go. Now, just like I said, this is absolutely packed full of people, and it's going to be even more packed as soon as they start singing. Midnight's Curse gets second place for stage design. It is a great stage design, but again, it's the same stage design, and also they don't utilize it as much. The Shrieks, it was clearly built for the Shrieks, although I guess they do have everybody doing the other like aerial acts and stuff like that. You know what? I'm gonna give it first place. I'm gonna have to change it. I'm gonna give it first place. For technology, Midnight's Curse gets 4th place, and that is because there are 3 shows that are very screen heavy, do quite a bit with that. Midnight's Curse doesn't do quite as much with it. So I'm gonna give it 4th place right under there. There are still the like practical things of the rope that they pull to raise people up and do aerial acts and all that kind of stuff, which I do think is really, really fun. And you also physically see them pull it out on the stage, which also I think adds to the ambiance. It really makes it more fun that way too. But it doesn't do quite as much as far as technology goes for that show. For talent, it was so hard because you have fantastic singers on one end, and you also have fantastic dancers in the Shrieks. And then you also have incredible aerial acts and stunt people, and also incredible dancers in Midnight's Curse. But overall, I'm gonna give it to Midnight's Curse. Midnight's Curse gets 1st place out of 7 shows that we've ranked. For humor, Midnight's Curse just really isn't funny at all. So I'm giving it 6th place out of 7. Different shows that we've seen tonight, that's just not its thing. I started rambling here about how all the costumes were a little bit similar, and in this show, these costumes are not similar at all. The costumes of Midnight's Curse are incredible. They're all very individualistic. They're very sexy. There's a lot of skin on both the guys and the girls that you can see in this show. The acts of strength that are being done in the show are displayed incredibly well by the costumes that these guys are wearing. It's just really, really fun to watch. The dancing's incredible all the way around. Each dancer is wearing something individual. Of course, Mr. Midnight is fantastic looking because he has this incredibly intricate costume on that has stuff coming out of the tips of his fingers even. It's a great situation for all of these actors and stunt people and dancers and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this one, and I think it's definitely deserving of the 1st place that I gave it. I don't know why I was rambling on about things that frankly aren't true. So now last place with Kids Costume Contest and 32 points is Kids Costume Contest. In 6th place with 25 points is The Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. In 5th place with 23 points is The Witch Sisters. Tied for 3rd with 22 points is Opening Scarymonies and Wake the Dead. 2nd place with 13 points is Midnight's Curse. 1st place with 10 points is The Shrieks. So let's keep going to this show right behind me. So you have to come in for 2 shows, basically no matter what, if you want to be able to see this show with a really, really good view. That show is absolutely bonkers fantastic. And now it's time for the second show of the Fangs After Dark. Okay, for stage design, I am giving the Fangs 6th place here for this show. It's just because there's not a ton of stage design. There's not really a lot of screens. They do have the skulls and the graves up here, and it is cool, but there's just not a ton of stage design. I'm gonna be frank with you guys, this is my favorite show, but that doesn't mean it gets #1 place for almost anything, actually, in this, unfortunately. For technology, I'm giving it 5th place. 5th place, it's, again, there's just not a ton of technology. There is, of course, sound that they have to do, and then there's also just the lighting that they have. And so that sets it above some of the shows. But anything that's on the main stage gets a better mark than this one does because there's just not a ton of tech that goes to this show. For talent, the Fangs gets #1. It is my favorite. They are holding down the fort in every possible way. They're dancing, they're singing, they are providing all the instrumentation. They are incredible in every single way, and so much so that Sadie barely sings. Sadie is one of the best voices I've ever seen. She doesn't even need to sing because she has other people that are still just as good. It blows my mind. It's incredible. I'm loving this show so much, and please excuse me while I geek out a little bit. For humor, I give the Fangs 6th place, just because it's really not a funny show either. So really this is coming down to my criteria sucking, apparently. But I do love this show so much. It's so fun to watch. And the personalities are still really good. So you still get a little bit of humor sometimes just by watching them together, or them like showing off for me, coming after me, stuff like that, trying to look into the camera, stuff like that. So either way, it's really fun no matter what. But again, it's not really meant to be a funny show. For costumes, it's the Fangs all the way. #1, absolutely, in every possible way. These are incredible. These costumes are crazy sexy too. They are really fun to watch. They're just fun to watch everywhere you look. No matter what you're looking at, no matter who you're looking at, you have a smorgasbord of beautiful people to look at in this show. I don't care who you are. There is nobody in this show that is not a feast for the eyes. So come and see the Fangs. I absolutely love this show. It's so much fun. The costumes all are hand designed. I actually got to see the designs last year for the show, for the costumes that they had last year, but they still are a little bit the same. They have a motif of the they have a motif of flames everywhere. Just like this summer, they had a motif of turquoise on each of their costumes. Of course, there's also a lot of fishnet, a lot of unevenness in each of the costumes. Each person is different, and it sets them apart in every possible way that I love to watch. So it's so much fun. This is a fantastic show, and like I said, to me, it's my favorite. It's a fantastic show. It is a show that you need to come see one way or another. I don't care who you are, you're going to love it. And even if you are not a show fan, like I'm a show fan, I love to watch like just Broadway stuff, things like that. But if you're not a show fan, this is more of a concert experience than it is a show experience. Like, you will like this. This is a show for people who hate shows. Who gave them the right to be that good? They're so good it pisses me off. All right, at 36 points, the kids' costume show is the last place that I have. Not yet, because I'm not doing Skeleton Crew.
You're not counting it part of the shows?
I haven't counted it yet. I will be. Look who it is! It's Droko!
That was awesome. I like that.
At 28 points, the Monsters Are Coming Charlie Brown gets 7th place out of 8 shows that we've seen tonight. At 27 points and 6th place, we have the Witch Sisters, which feels disappointing to me, but everything is just so good. At 25 points and 5th place, we have the opening Scarymonies. At 19 points and 4th place, we have the Fangs. Now, I want to repeat to you again, that is my favorite show. If you're gonna ask me, out of everything I've seen tonight, That's the one I will come back to again and again and again. Still gets 4th place to me because I'm trying to be as fair and balanced as I possibly can. At number 17 and 3rd place, we have Wake the Dead. Number 16 and 2nd place, we have Midnight's Curse. 12 points, but 1st place, we have The Shrieks. There is so much competition. Like, if one person just got 1st place for every category, they would have 5 points. So we're more than double that because there is just a ton of competition with all of these categories. All right, and the last show for this evening is the Skeleton Crew. The Skeleton Crew will be our 9th show for the evening for us to go check out. Now, this is a show that they used to have here at Cedar Point for Halloweekends, and they brought it back this year. It's a lot of bouncing. Well, they do have little doors to hop into. Okay, that's cool. For the Skeleton Crew that we just watched, as far as stage design goes, it gets 8th place out of 9 shows that I saw tonight. Skeleton Crew gets 7th place for technology. Again, there's just not a ton to it. It's some lights. They don't even talk. They don't even sing during it. So as far as technology goes, there's just not a lot to do with it. Little bit of lighting cues, and that's all it is. For talent, Skeleton Crew gets 5th place out of 9 shows that I went to go see tonight. There's just less to it than some. It's not as varied as the shows with dancing and singing, all that kind of stuff, where there's just tons of stuff that they do. But obviously, it's a very physical feat that they're doing, something that takes a ton of practice. So some of the less physical shows, I just ranked a little bit lower. Skeleton Crew gets 3rd place for humor. I mean, really, just the costumes alone really lend themselves to humor for that show. It's a very fun show to watch as far as that goes, although we'll talk about the costumes in just a second here. Okay, but I hate the costumes for Skeleton Crew. It's the worst costumes ever. First of all, they're all the same. Hate that. Hate it so much. At least make the bones look a little bit different from person to person. Secondly, it's just like, do something with it. I'd really love to connect with the face. There at the end when they took off their masks, I was like, oh wow, that's fun, you know? The only thing in their favor is that they are funny, because they are a skeleton with a face on the back of their head. That makes them funnier. Every way that they move, it just looks a little bit different, and it makes it funny in that way. But I would much prefer something more akin to like Nightwalkers, even though I understand that doesn't fit the theme of the Bone Walk area. All right, with 40 points and in last place is the Kids Costume Contest. At 32 points and number 8 is Skeleton Crew. At 30 points and number 7 is The Monsters Are Coming, Charlie Brown. At 29 points and 6th place is The Witch Sisters. At 27 points and 5th place is the opening Scarymonies. 20 points in fourth place is the Fangs. 17 points in third place is Wake the Dead. Hello. Also tied for third and or also for second is Midnight's Curse. And number 1 is the Shrieks. We are headed into Erie Estates. We're just hanging out together, that's all. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I lost my voice from yelling.
You were yelling at me.
Yeah.
Why were you yelling at me?
I don't know, trying to get your attention.
Where are we going? Well, the plan today was to go get some snacks also. But I just got a whole bunch of drinks. So we are going to get one snack tonight beyond just our regular meals. And that is going to go with the fries. I'm gonna go get some garlic cheese fries. It's nothing that's actually made for Halloween. I just really want something to eat before I leave and go back home. So we're gonna do that. Hey, it's Juice! Hey! Now there is one other show that happens right here, and this is the Butchers of Rock. It is a great show, and I did see it on my very first day here on Thursday. Now today it wasn't on the schedule, but apparently they did do it. So I didn't think that they did, and that's why I didn't come to it. But I would have tried to have figured out how to come to it instead of going to see the Fangs 3 times, which, I mean, sorry, but worth it. But I am going to rank this right now into the list also.
Calliope music, the thunders and shriek. The clowns are coming, the clowns are coming.
Gathered in their masses, just like witches act like monsters. Tricks humankind, poisoning their brainwashed mind. Just be the one pedal animal act. Up to the corner to the rubble. They used to be alive, right? Out to the mind cemetery now. Speaks out, all tied to lose your mind, you hear them. Tell me on a Saturday morning, I was dreaming I was out alone. There's a rumor going round, gotta clear out of the time, I'm spending like a dry bum. Here come the love, and I break the door, gonna carry me away once more. I never win anymore. Gotta get away from the stone.
We have a clown friend. Oh! For stage design, Butchers of Rock gets 8th place. There's just not a ton of stage design. There's a little bit of lighting. There's obviously it's inside this crate, and the area around it is cool, but there's not really specific stage design. Although that guitar right next to the stage is pretty baller. For technology, Butchers of Rock has some microphones, and it has the lighting that it has. And I do really love the lighting show. I think it's very nice looking, but it's, again, not much to it. So it gets 6th place for that. For talent, Butchers of Rock is very clearly very talented. They do all of the instrumentation for this show. There is really no dancing though. There are some clowns down on the ground that dance, but they're not really a part of the band. And then of course they sing too. I do love watching them, but also it's just not my style of music. For humor, Butchers of Rock gets 4th place because it is a little bit funnier. There are often times when they stop and they laugh, do stuff like that. Now it's supposed to be very off-putting, but it does also add to a little bit of an off-centered humor, I guess, to the show. So like I said, I gave it 4th place. And lastly, the costumes get 7th place. Now this feels actually a little bit low for me, but it's just because all of the other costumes are so great. They are once again hand designed and created specifically for this show. Also, the drummer, one of the drummers trades out, but he actually has a costume for each show that he performs in. So he performs here, and then he also performs with Fangs. So it's just pretty cool how they have all these very individualistic costumes that they do wear. Of course, the wigs and the makeup also add to the effect. So I do think that's pretty cool. But still, 7th place, not that high of a ranking. And that just speaks to how much incredible costuming Cedar Point has. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for this discussion of all of the different shows we had today. Here's the rankings right over here to the left. Which of my rankings do you agree with? Which ones do you not agree with? Love to hear from you guys down in the comments. Also, from what you saw today, or if you've been here, which show is your favorite show, or do you think would be your favorite show? Again, I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments. Also, feel free to disagree with me, challenge me, all that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear from you guys down there, regardless of how you're going to do it. Press that like button, please, so that more people can find this channel. Press the subscribe button, or also share this video for other people to be able to find also. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and let's go! Thank you so much to my patrons and channel members, and also a special thank you to Casey Wood. Casey Wood, oh my word. Also, if you would like to become a member of the channel, please press that join button down below. We'd love to have you. Let's go. Hey, thanks for watching. I release theme park related videos at least a couple times a week, so press that subscribe button if you made it this far. Also, check out similar videos in the playlist to the right, or find my newest video to the left. Thanks again, and let's go!